Hello friends! We have reached the end of the year. I cannot believe that 2021 is over. I am thankful that it's over, but also like, it's gonna be the same going into the new year, so what am I even talking about? Before we get to the main meat of this video, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who has watched and subscribed and liked or interacted with any of my videos in any sort of way. I am super grateful. I saw a lot of growth here on YouTube this year and I am eternally grateful. I don't think it was this year or maybe it was last year where I really don't understand time anymore, but I think last year was the year that I really decided I wanted to focus a lot on making manga content, and this year I dove headfirst into it and I am so glad I did. I have been on YouTube for a really long time, but I have never really felt a place that I like really belong or really comfortable making content about. So I'm so glad that I decided to really talk about manga more and kind of really delve into shoujo manga, because it's really been like my one true love. If you want to go that way. So I'm really grateful to everyone who has watched and subscribed, and I love like the shoujo manga community everywhere, so thank you so much for all of the support for this year. I hope you continue to support me in 2022 also. Now that we've got that out of the way, now it is time to talk about my favorite manga of the year. So this is my favorite manga of the year, and some of these I cannot believe I started or read the majority of in 2021, because like this year has been so long and I have read so much manga. I don't even know how much manga I read, and I know some people like to do like stats, stuff like that, but I have no idea. Actually, hold on, I might be able to find out. So according to my filters on Notion, I have read approximately 232 manga this year, which is insane. And really for the majority of it, I liked pretty much everything that I read. There are maybe only a few series that I've like DNF'd, or volumes that I really didn't, or series like I didn't like, but I liked pretty much everything, which is amazing. I'm kind of selective with what I read though. I kind of only read stuff where I know I'm gonna like it. This list was so hard to narrow down because there's so much that I read that I really liked. There are definitely series that have stood out from others. There are series that I'm surprised that I read the most of this year. It's been a very long year, I guess. And I guess this is my first like full-time year like really only reading manga. I read no novels this year. I started one and I haven't finished it yet. So like coming from somebody who used to read like 30, like 40 maybe novels a year, like I've read 0, but I've read 230 volumes of manga. So alright, so I'm going to try to do this in order. These are not series that have all come out in this year. They are just series that I have read this year. They're not all finished. Some of them are ongoing. Some of them I haven't even finished yet, but I just love them so much that I have put them on this list. Some of them are still being released, so it's not like I could go and find the ending of it anyway. But yeah, let's get on with the list. Our honorable mention is going to be Blue Flag. I just thought of this manga while I was starting this video, and I was like, how could I leave this off? But it's an honorable mention. So Blue Flag I read on the Shonen Jump app as they released like the volumes. So it was after the print volume came out, but it's still amazing. I really want to get the physical volumes because I think it's just such a powerful and such a good manga. If you don't know about Blue Flag, it's about a bunch of high schoolers. They are kind of figuring out love and relationships. There is an LGBTQ plus aspect to it, and it's such like a raw and like real depiction of like youth and like how messy and like weird feelings and relationships are. I really can't speak to the like LGBTQ plus aspect of it, but knowing from like hearing reviews from other people in that community, it's very well done and like really good. While it is like a high school relationships type of thing, so it's not what I think most people think of as like shonen. A lot of but it's printed in Shonen Jump, so it's shonen, but that, like, really demographics, like, don't matter with manga. But the ending was so surprising. I'm not going to, like, talk about the ending, but the ending was so surprising, and like it felt really like nice, and it just made you think so much about the rest of the manga, and it was just like a really lovely, rewarding, beautiful experience to read. It had me crying multiple times. There are characters that you love, there are characters that you absolutely hate. There is one girl that I wish she would stop talking. She is so wordy, but anyway. Yeah, Blue Flag, honorable mention, amazing manga. If you have the Shonen Jump app, I believe you can read it. I don't know if it's like on the free, I don't think it's on the free side, but the Shonen Jump app is only $2 a month. So if you can only pay for 1 month, pay for $2 and then you can just read the whole manga. But anyway, amazing manga. I'm so glad that I read it. So number 10 is A Kiss for Real by Fumie Akuta. So this is a manga I read in like a day. I stayed up way past my bedtime to finish this manga. Most of it is on Comixology, so if you have the subscription for there, you can read, I think, the first 6 or 7 volumes, and then the last 2 or 3 you have to purchase. I did because I needed the next volumes immediately. So this is about 2 kids who are in a art, like, cram school, after school type thing. They're trying to get into art college, so they go to this special like, they go to regular school, but then they go to like art school afterwards. This girl, who is kind of fake, she puts on a front at school where she pretends to be a really likable type of nice girl because she doesn't want anybody to hate her. Her name is Chitose, and she meets Itsuki, and he is attending this art school, and he kind of sees through her, like, mask that she puts on, and he's kind of rude to her at first, but she is, like, annoyed and, like, interested, I guess, in him and why he's so, like, rude to her and how he can see through her mask. So she kind of follows him to this art school and ends up joining, partly so she can kind of get to know him a bit more, but also so that she can do something for herself. She's always been kind of like artsy and crafty throughout her life, but she's never really done anything that's like for her. She's always doing stuff for other people. So this is really an opportunity for her to do something for herself and kind of figure out what she wants to do in life. And it is so good. Like, it is surprising how good it is. I love the relationship between Chitose and Itsuki. It's really, really sweet, and seeing them kind of like grow as artists and grow as like people and also grow together like romantically is really, really fun. As I was reading this manga, I just got so attached to all of the characters that, like, I did not want to let them go. I kind of cried a little bit at the end. The ending is super sweet, really, really cute. In the middle of it, it gets kind of like, this is how you apply to art school kind of tutorial, but it gets away from that. I thought at that point it was gonna kind of go downhill, but then it really picked back up with the relationship aspect and kind of like the what do I want to do with my life aspect. So it turns into like a really sweet kind of romantic coming of age type of manga, and it's really, really great. And so I'm sad that it's digital because the art was really cute in it. So if you have the chance, go check out A Kiss for Real because it is a surprisingly cute, fun time. So number 9 is going to be Tokyo Babylon by Clamp. So this is part of my not quite abandoned Clamp project. I have a reading vlog for this manga, so go and check it out. I did it in like February or something like that, very beginning of the year. But this is a very popular, very classic Clamp manga. It's about Subaru, and he has the ability to see spirits, and he goes to like exercise spirits, I guess. So Subaru is hanging out with his twin sister and this like older dude named Seishiro. And Seishiro is kind of a little bit mysterious, possibly a little bit evil. So it's kind of about Subaru exercising these demons and kind of trying to figure out like the mysteries of some of his lost memories and kind of what Seishiro has to do with them and what is coming in the future and how Subaru fits into that. So this is excellent. It's super dark. It's very like foreboding and everything like that. It is a prequel to X, which I don't know if it was the intention when they made this or if they made X afterwards because they were inspired by what they made with Tokyo Babylon. I don't know what the planning process was, but this was excellent. It was so great to read a classic like shoujo clamp manga. The fashion in this is peak fashion, like 90s clamp, amazing. There are several parts of this that really made me cry. Some really touching stories in it, so it was excellent. Like clamp is amazing, so, and Tokyo Babylon is one of their best. Number 8 is gonna be Hatsuharu, and this is by Shizuki Fujisawa. So I've talked about Hatsuharu a lot kind of recently, and I really am shocked that I read this all this year. Like, what? Hatsuharu is really fun. It's a high school romance from the guy's perspective. It is super fun and so funny. Like a manga that makes you laugh out loud. I had so much fun with the romance aspect of this and all of the different characters and the different kind of couples and dynamics that were in this. It was so much fun. The main character, Ichinose Kai, is so funny. I had such a good time with this. It was so heartwarming, and I feel like I need to reread it because it was just great. The art is absolutely beautiful. It's just such a really good time. I really enjoy Hatsuharu. Alright, so number 7 is going to be Library Wars. So this is, the story and art is by Kiro Yumi and original concept by Hiro Arakawa. This is adapted from a light novel series, and this is kind of a like alternate present, I guess, workplace military romance with a touch of commentary on censorship, and it is so much fun. I think I've talked about Library Wars like kind of recently on my channel because I read it all in like one sitting pretty much, but this is so much fun. I'm obsessed with this series. I like so much that I like picked up the sequel series in Japanese because I needed more of it. And they're probably not going to print this in English. There's no way. It's not popular enough. This is about a girl named Iku Kasahara who, after being inspired by a Library Defense Force member who saves her favorite book, enters into the Library Defense Force, which is a military force that helps protect books at the library from being destroyed. And they would do this through military combat. It's insane, but it is so much fun. The main focus of this is the romance between Kasahara and her superior officer, Asushi Dojo. It is so much fun. If you want characters who, like, some people use the words enemies to lovers, and I think I've used that term in the past, but they're not really enemies. They're more like they butt heads a lot. So if you want like kind of like a bickering kind of couple that kind of are clueless about how they feel about each other, this is gonna be your manga. It's so good. It's so much fun. It's definitely leans more to the romance side than the kind of like action military side. They kind of gloss over a lot of some of those situations, but if you do watch the anime, there's a little bit more action in the anime. But it is so much fun. I love Dojo so much. He is so cool. He is so hot. He's short, but a short king. Library Wars, definitely one of my favorites. It's so cute. It's so much fun. It's a little bit weird. It has some kind of good commentary on censorship. Doesn't focus a lot on it, but there's some good things in there. So yeah, Library Wars, definitely a favorite from this year. Number 6 is going to be Requiem of the Rose King, and this is by Aya Kano. This manga is amazing. I have read, how many volumes of this? 8 volumes of this. There's an anime coming out in January, so be prepared. This is a manga about the War of the Roses. It's based off of the Shakespeare plays King Richard or Richard III. I don't know. I haven't read these ones. And Henry IV, or something like that. So yeah, it's so good. It's full of action, drama, politics, romance, everything. And one of the really interesting things about this is that Richard, our main character, is intersex, so you get the kind of struggle that Richard is going through, trying to learn to accept himself for like what he is or who he is, and him struggling with feeling like a man and like being a man, but also having female anatomy. So that's a really, really interesting part of this manga that I feel like not a lot of people talk about, and it's probably the most interesting thing about this manga. But this is full of twists and turns and betrayals and so much. Like volume 8, I don't know why I haven't picked up the rest of it. I think I'm just waiting for Christmas to be over. But volume 8, there's a twist in it that shocked me to my core. And I need to read more of it. So, Requiem of the Rose King, amazing. More people need to read this. So good. I cannot wait for the anime. I'm going to be all about it. Number 5 is Fruits Basket. I have finally finished Fruits Basket. I have this is a like 2-year journey of me reading this series. I had never read it as a young weeb, but I read it as an adult. I think I started last year and I finally finished it in December of 2021. So I have a whole vlog series about me reading this series and my first impressions and kind of like battling my former prejudices about this series. So this was so good, and I understand why now. Now I understand why it is so popular and so well loved, and definitely it is going to be a favorite. There's so much in this series. It is like you think it's gonna be like a cute kind of like romance, like kind of supernatural type of thing, but it's actually like about like overcoming like grief and overcoming trauma and that sort of thing, and it is so deep and meaningful and beautiful, and I just absolutely loved it. I'm so glad I finally finished this series. And so number 4 is going to be Yona of the Dawn. So Yona of the Dawn, like everyone knows Yona of the Dawn, it is one of the most popular shoujo manga out there. If you have not read Yona of the Dawn, you need to get your life in order and read it. It is so good. We are at 33 volumes now, which is insane. And we're like kind of behind Japan like a lot, so there's a lot we don't know about this series. And I am in love. Like, I'm in love. I'm in love. It's so good. All of the characters are like great. They're complicated with their situations and their feelings and kind of where their decisions. And Yona is turning out to be, her character growth from the beginning to now is amazing. We've kind of, at this point, we've kind of come back to the beginning, where we were at the beginning, without too many spoilers, and it's so interesting to see her in a setting that she was in the beginning of the manga, back in that setting as the person she is now. It's so interesting. We're getting lots of backstory about the dragons and Suwon and Yona and everything. So super good. I'm so invested in the story of Yona right now. So I read most of this year. Actually, I think I spent like a weekend where I just read nothing. I read like something like 13 volumes in one weekend because I needed to catch up, and I have not been behind since. So I pre-order this every 2 months when it comes out, and I do not see myself stopping anytime soon because it is so good. Number 3 is a manga series that I have not finished reading or collecting. I have a few volumes that are kind of like being held hostage by Right Stuff until they print more, but it is Honey and Clover. I've read 5 volumes of this, so I'm about halfway through, but this is such a beautiful story. This is about a bunch of kids in art college, and they're kind of navigating love and relationships and kind of where they want to go in the future, and it is so beautiful. There are so many great poignant moments in this, and it's great. It deals with kind of like hard work versus talent, which is a thing that I love to read about, and just there's so much in this that I love so much, and it's older so it doesn't get a lot of attention, but I definitely think that more people need to read Honey and Clover. I'm so glad I read this. There's so many parts of it that I relate to, or I did at one point in my life, like maybe in college, and it's so good. It's so sweet and beautiful. I love it. I love it with my whole heart. So number 2, I was kind of debating on which one of these next 2 is going to be my like number 2, number 1 favorite manga of the year, like which one was going to be which, and I don't really know how I got to this process, but I think one of them has more content and has made me cry more. So anyway, number 2 is Queen's Quality and QQ Sweeper. I can't believe this is the year that I read these. Like, it feels like I have been reading this forever. I talk about this all the time, especially on TikTok, and I would have it no other way. I love this series to death. It is so good. It is so much fun. The romance is amazing. The story is amazing. I love the plot. I love everything about this manga. I feel like Queen's Quality is slowly becoming my personality. So many things I love about this series. One of the main things I love is honestly like the romance in it, and just the relationship that Kyutaro and Fumi have is so good. Like, no other couple is better than them. They are so like loving, and they understand each other, and they help each other, and they talk to each other, and just it's so good. I can't articulate my feelings on why I love this series so much. But I feel like I've also talked about everything that I love so many times on my channel. So yeah, I'm so glad I decided to pick up this manga this year. Like, I had been looking at QQ Sweeper forever, and I was like, what is the deal with QQ Sweeper and Queen's Quality? Are they the same thing? Like, what's going on? I had no idea. And then I finally bit the bullet and I picked them up, and I am so glad I did. Oh my god. And I'm sure you can probably guess what my number 1 favorite manga that I have read this year is. Like, I will give you a minute. Think about it. Okay, you got it? Let's see if you're right. Number 1 favorite manga that I've read this year is Chihayafuru. I don't know how much of a surprise this is, but I love Chihayafuru so much. I feel like this series has been with me forever. I mean, I did watch the anime like much earlier than I read the manga, so maybe that's part of this feeling, but Chihayafuru is such a beautiful and special manga. There is so much depth to every single character. The story is fantastic. The sports element, even though it's like a weird sport, it's great. It like rivals every other sports manga. I feel like it just deserves a spot with the greatest sports anime of all time, or manga of all time, because it is so thrilling. You are on the edge of your seat with every single match, and it's so good. The things that it deals with, you know, hard work versus talent, my favorite theme. It also deals with kind of like, what do you do in like a niche sport or like a niche activity where like this is your passion, but like there's only like you can't make a living out of it, you know? Like, you can't become a professional karuta player like you can be like a professional basketball player. It's so like literary too. The way they interweave the poems from the like 100 poems into the story, and how there are poems for each character and situations, and just the way those are displayed. It is so brilliant. I want to cry. There's so much emotion packed up in this. And you also get so many different types of characters. With a lot of sports manga, you know, you're following high schoolers most of the time, and they only play against other high schoolers. But the thing with Karuta is that it is a sport that is enjoyed by people of all ages. So you see people enjoying the same thing and playing the same thing and working towards the same goal of different ages. You have young kids, you have teenagers, you have like old men, you have mothers, you have so many different types of people and characters and opponents that our main characters like face, that you get so much variety and so many different types of stories. It's just absolutely brilliant. Literally every volume makes me want to cry. It is so emotional. It's just probably, it is like one of the greatest manga I have ever read. It is so good. It's only digital, and you can't buy it in print in English, and it's like the biggest like crime in manga. It is I just don't understand why they don't print this manga. It's so good. The audiences that love sports manga will love Chihayafuru. Like, if you like Haikyuu, you're going to love Chihaya like 100%. There you have it. Those are the top 10 manga that I have read this year. There's so much good stuff here. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna top this next year, because I have read so many good stories. There are so many other manga that, like, I want to put in here, but I wanted to put in this list, but just wasn't able to because I only picked 10. I'm looking forward to all of the manga that I'm going to read next year, and I cannot wait to see what I read. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave a like sunflower in the comments. Sunflowers are my favorite flower, so that's why I am picking a sunflower, because it's my favorite flowers, that sort of thing, whatever. So yeah, leave a sunflower emoji in the comments to let me know that you made it to the end of this video. In the description you will find links to all of my social media, where you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Also there's a link to my wish list if that is something you want to look at. There's also my Right Stuff affiliate link, so if you click on that link, make a purchase at Right Stuff, I get a little bit of commission, helps me out, helps the channel out, so I can bring more wonderful manga content to you next year. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more manga goodness from me. That is all I've got for you guys today. I'm Chrissy Lou. Till next time, matane!